House Chief of Staff Reince Priebus, podcast host Tudor Dixon. I said this on the first day back after Christmas vacation, Tudor Dixon. I said, this is the Democratic playbook. January 6th, abortion. They're going to talk about democracy in peril. Then they're going to use the old playbook that Republicans are racist, sexist, and all the phobias you could ever imagine. And this is all they've got. And lawfare now seems to have now risen to the top of the heap because they can't win on the proposition that you're better off than you were 4 years ago.
Well, they can't win on that. They can't win on the border, what you just talked about. So, yes, of course. But this is happening all across the country. What they've done to Trump, they're doing in states across the country. You see it in Michigan. You see it in Georgia. This is something that is incredibly dangerous. Attorneys general across the country think that they can do this. But let's not forget, these are people who ran on creating a crime, matching the president to the crime, and then putting him in prison. And now you have the president of the United States going, gosh, look. He's a convicted felon, and now you have to vote for me. I mean, this is one step away from electing Navalny. This is a very serious situation when you have the president of the United States taking his opposition and jailing them. What's next? And you're seeing this, like I said, you are seeing this in other states as well, where they are either finding, oh, this person will be my opposition, I'm going to create a crime and match them to it, or they're taking other people who have run and said, look, we want to make sure that they can't ever do it again, and we're going to find a crime and match them to it. This is incredibly dangerous. If the American people do not see what is going on, then we will have Republicans jailed across this country. It is extraordinarily scary times in the United States of America.
You know, we'll get to this in a little more detail later, Reince, but Director Wray has been warning in every appearance before Congress that the danger to this country has never been as loud as it is right now. It's never been this bad, is what he's saying. A lot of it has to be where a lot of these illegal immigrants are coming from. Iran and Syria, tens and tens of thousands, China and Russia and Egypt and Afghanistan and Yemen and Kazakhstan. I would argue it is inevitable now. We have terrorist cells that Joe Biden has allowed into this country, and the country's going to get hit. Those two cops shot. Biden has blood on his hands. Any attack on this country, I blame Biden. He will have blood on his hands, and he has failed this country. He's failed in his duty as commander-in-chief, and that is to secure our border and prevent our geopolitical foes from entering unvetted. That's what is allowed to happen on top of the cost of everything.
Well, and it goes right to the heart of intent and competency of the president. I mean, the intent is there. You hit on it before with Governor Abbott. On day one of his presidency, he signed 9 executive orders. 6 of them had to do with immigration, and one of them was stop the wall. One of them was end the executive order that he tried to put in today. We know it didn't really do that, but the Remain in Mexico policy. The 3rd executive order he signed forced municipalities to count illegal immigrants in their census count so that those municipalities can get more money. That's the one untold story about this. If you ever wonder, why are these municipalities declaring themselves sanctuary cities? Because they want more federal money, and they've got a law that lets them get more federal money. And as far as what Tudor Dixon and you were just talking about, Alvin Bragg campaigned on the fact that he was the best situated to go after Trump because he went after his children. He went after the Trump org over 100 times. They made it political. But look what happens. We have an election now a few months away. And what do you need to do to win an election when only 100,000 people in 5 states are going to decide it? You need money and you need enthusiasm. There is no doubt that we have a party that's unified and off the charts now because of what happened, and add on top of it the record amount of money that the party's raising. I talked to the president a few days ago, and I asked him a question. I said, other than the headache of this trial that you just went through, is there anything right now not going well in this campaign? He said, none. Everything, it is off the charts right now, and I think that the Democrats bit off more than they could chew with this.
If it's about the economy, if it's about borders, if it's about law and order, if it's about, war in Europe, war in the Middle East, if it's about his surrender in the war on terrorism, if it's about his cognitive decline, how does he ever win? If it's about lawfare, it's never been this bad. And there's not a single thing he can point to that he could say, my policies have been successful. Tudor Dixon, Reince Priebus, thank you. When we come back, Merrick Garland, wow.